So lucky for you, and I'm loaded on caffeine, so I'm sorry. And it doesn't do anything. I can drink coffee at 10 p.m. and go to bed at 10 p.m. So,
Okay. There's
All right.
cookies up here too. There's cookies.
beautiful, there you go. So, and I can.
Yeah.
Go to the slides with this.
Yep.
Okay. So. You've gone through open houses, you've seen how to generate leads that way. You've been talking about the database and the importance of the database. You are learning how to capture leads through open houses and with social media, which that's an advantage over the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, which was written before social media was a thing. So now today we're going to talk about ways to capture more leads. Again, as far as my experience goes, you'll be able to generate more leads and more hands-on experience through open houses, through door knocking while you prepare for an open house. But also what we're going to learn today is other ways to generate business. Just keep in mind, any business that doesn't bring new business goes out of business. Okay, so your number one job as an agent is to be able to create that pipeline so you get more business. It's a beautiful thing when we get a client. It's a beautiful thing when someone signs a contract saying that they're going to work with you, and then you get fired the same day that you get paid. So if you don't have anything coming up, then that creates the inconsistency that ends up in scaring a lot of individuals. So let me see. The more leads, the better, and the more quality leads converted to contacts, the better as well. We're going to see some systems that work. We're going to talk about the difference between prospecting and marketing, how to create a gold mine out of referrals, other sources of leads. We're going to try to capture every lead, and that will conclude today's day. Well, this first part of the class. Then John will take you home with some more fun stuff. So they start with this quote: you love people, but at the same time, you haven't yet learned to love hunting for them. What does this mean to you? Why is this here at the beginning of the class? What are they trying to tell you? This is Gary Keller, by the way, so he knows a thing or two about real estate. So
I would say, but I feel like I talk too
you think you talk too much?
much.
Okay,
That's somebody else.
okay.
Somebody else say it.
You like people,
Yes.
and you interact well with
Yes.
people, but you might not feel an interaction or want to interact with them to ask them for their business.
Great. Great. What happens if you don't ask for the business? You don't get it, right? Yes, you know people and people know you. And they know you in a different realm that is not part of real estate. So they trust you, those that they know you, and they will work with you, but they may be a little apprehensive about an investment as big as real estate. So if you don't offer your services, if you don't ask for the business, you're guaranteed not to get it. The worst thing that can happen when you ask is they say no or not yet, or they don't trust you and come up with another excuse or whatever. But repetition, and you keep reminding people that you are doing this. And you'll have those cheerleaders that will support you no matter what. And they will send you business, and they will give you business, and they'll send you referrals. And you have to create a system to reward those people, because those people are the ones that are going to be the main source of referrals for you. So, yeah.
I would say even take out the love part and just say you haven't yet learned to hunt for them. Meaning you don't know
Okay.
where to start. You don't know.
Yeah.
you know, what sources, or you don't know the scripts.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't yet learned that part.
Good, very good, very good. Anything else? It's about learning to love lead generation. The hunt for people who are able, ready, and willing to buy or sell real estate now or soon. What happens if you come across someone who says, oh yeah, I've been thinking about buying a house, probably in 6 months or so. Worth keeping that lead? Yeah, absolutely. Are you gonna need business in 6 months? Yes. Should you just put it in the freezer and then contact them in 5.5 months? No, you should be able to establish a way to contact them and be in touch with them so that when they are ready, maybe 6 months will turn into 12 months, or maybe it'll turn into 3 months. You don't know unless you build that.
From my
relationship.
experience, whenever they say a time frame, it's usually shortened
There you
than
go.
what they claim.
There you
They say 12 months, they're buying in 6 to 8. They say 6 months, they're buying in 3 to 4.
Yeah.
From my experience.
go. And you will come across occasionally the pathologic buyer that won't buy because their credit is not ready, and you can build a path for them to get to the point. And at that point, maybe the 6 months will turn into 12 months, but you are with them along the way. If you can lead them to get what they want, that would be a happy client, right? And they'll refer your business. So, okay, systems that work.
Yes,
Your number one job is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers, okay? So, yes, you have all this stuff that you have to do as an agent. But without this, you don't have a business, okay? So, an agent's dread the concept of prospecting or lead generating, or I'm calling people to ask them for business. I'm calling people to offer a service. I'm like the solicitor that goes and knocks on the door. When you come from a point of service and when you come from a point of information and value, people are actually a lot more receptive than you think they are, right? So you just need to find that value. What does that mean? It could mean going through your neighborhood, letting your neighbors know, one, that you're in real estate, and two, that you have a list of the houses around the neighborhood that have sold in the last 6 months, so that they know what values are doing. And if they have any questions about the value of their house, that they should talk to you. Do people want to know what houses are selling around their house? Yeah, they do, because it affects them directly. Even if they are not ready to buy, they may know someone that is ready to buy or ready to sell. And if you are top of mind, chances are you're going to get that lead. Okay. So, okay. Let me make sure that I'm delivering any message they want me to deliver. Objectives today: gain a deeper understanding of how to create and disseminate lead generating messages and be able to expand your referral strategies. Okay. So yes, we are in the business of lead generation. So you gotta have a message, you gotta have a method. The message needs to match the market and what's going on the market, and your audience, right? And you need to be able to make an offer. You need to be able to offer a solution. What happens if you start telling people that interest rates are great and they should refinance on their house, right? Good idea or bad idea?
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Why? One, is not relevant to the market. Two, is not true. Three, is not useful. They already have a 3% interest rate and you're offering a 6.5% interest rate. So, but this conversation a year ago was a good conversation. Hey, your interest rate may be 5-6%. You could get it down to 3% or 2.5% and lock it in for 30 years. That's practically free money. You should look into it. And you're coming from a point of contribution and value, right? Do you get paid when people refinance? No, you don't get paid unless you have a loan officer's license. But you're providing a solution. It's just like someone calling you because they need a painter. And you, as the agent, have all of the resources to refer them to a good painter. Do you get paid when? No, you don't. But they appreciate that you provide a solution for them. The painter also appreciates that you're referring their business. And therefore, maybe you should ask the painter for referrals. Okay, and we're gonna cover some of that. So. Match the market by tailoring the intended message to the sentiments and market conditions of a target group in the area in which you operate. What could be an offer that you make that will generate a response? What can you do to make your phone ring? What could you deliver in terms of message to prompt people to call? What do you think? What could be a good message? If refinancing is not an option right now, what message can you deliver to start that conversation?
Right now in today's market,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm thinking like a giveaway, maybe, to get them
Okay.
to call you.
okay,
Yeah, I was thinking giveaway.
okay. A giveaway could be an option. What else could you do? How can you generate a response from people? And by the way, it doesn't have to be over the phone, it doesn't have to be face to face, it could be on social media.
Yeah, social media.
Social media, video. This awesome house just came in the market. If you're looking for a house in this neighborhood, call me right away. You deliver a message. You throw the hook. You try to reel them in.
I thought you were saying what's a good thing to talk, like a topic.
That also, but you know what I mean? It could be a one-liner that prompts people to call. So it should be a message and try to create a response from them. Okay. Do you know about the prices of homes in your neighborhood or your area or town? I've got a report just for you. Call me, text me, visit my website, go do this, so a call of action, right, to generate that. So that brings us to the method. And on the method, there are two primary methods of getting your message out to the target group: prospecting and marketing. What's the difference between prospecting and marketing? What comes to your mind when I say prospecting?
Prospecting, you're either calling leads or you're outdoor knocking.
Sifting through the people you know.
Okay. Okay. That's one way.
Or the people that you can engage in, whether
Okay.
you know them or not.
Okay. So engagement is the key. When you prospect, you're purposeful. You're actively looking and contacting these people. When you're marketing, yeah, you're spending some money and hoping. It's like throwing the net and hoping to bring some customers, but it's not specific. So the prospecting depends on you. The marketing, you can have an assistant do all and run all your marketing, social media, farming, you name it. You can do marketing. All you gotta do is spend some money and be purposeful. But when it comes to prospecting, you are directly going to get these people, right? You are getting in front of these people. So that's the main difference between those two. One is a lot more purposeful than the
So
other
then
one.
when you do the prospecting.
Yeah.
The marketing is going to come in to the same realm.
For example,
Because
yes,
if you want to hold on to this prospect, you've got to market to them.
correct. But at that point, so that would be prospect. When you're engaging with the person is prospect, right?
Yes.
The marketing is to bring the unknown. The marketing is the billboard. The marketing is the postcards. The marketing is the junk mail. The marketing is all these things that you send out, hoping for a response, or
Passive.
trying to get, yes. The marketing is passive. The prospecting is active, right? You are going to engage with these people, right? They both serve a purpose. But if you have to focus on one, prospecting is free. And it's a lot more effective than the market. Okay, you're gonna be able to convert more leads when you go knocking on doors and engaging with people. Versus them receiving a postcard that 9 times out of 10 is gonna end up in the garbage before they even fully read it. Okay, so that's the main difference between prospecting and marketing. But they're both methods and they are good. It's just a matter of how you want to set up your business so that, and we're gonna recommend that you do it prospecting based with a marketing emphasis, okay? Here's the concept that leads are really everywhere. You're going to Starbucks, you're grabbing a coffee and you hear a couple talking about a house that they saw. Depending on your personality, you may or may not want to engage. You may have on your laptop cover sticker that says, I love real estate, or you may just wanna say, hey, I overheard the conversation, sorry, that, you've been looking at homes. Are you in the market for a home? And try to present a solution for their problem. Does that make you nosy? Possibly. The worst thing that can happen is that they say no, or they say, I have an agent, and who knows? Maybe you know the agent, maybe you say, you have a great agent, even if you don't know the agent, you should say that. And you never know. Maybe they're not very happy with their agent. And they end up recommending their cousin who's moving to town. So anything that you can do to create that rapport and that relationship. When you are in an open house, you have a very short amount of time to engage with people and build that rapport. If you come from a point of service and contribution versus what can I do to get you in this house today? You're gonna be able to build that rapport with people, right? You don't need to sell the car that you have on the lot, because if they don't like this house, guess what? You have 2,000 other houses that you can show them. So it's about gaining that trust from them in a short amount of time to build that relationship, okay? Does that make sense? Is it redundant? I'm sure you've heard it a few times by now. No, us, we're just too soon for us. Prospecting versus marketing. Let's see. Somebody read this, I'm tired of reading.
Lead generation is a contact sport with simple rules. It means making contact with people through prospecting and marketing.
Boom. So, thank you, Gidget. So very simple. You're trying to convince people to work with you. In order for them to work with you, they need to trust you. In order to trust you, you need to engage with them. There's no engagement, there's no trust, there is no business, you go bankrupt. You don't want. So ultimately, whether you do it through prospecting, which as a new agent, you should definitely concentrate on prospecting. Again, it's cost effective and it's a lot more effective in terms of converting leads. You should do it. And at some point, you should start incorporating some of the marketing. Now, if you're a whiz in social media, or if you're much younger, which a lot of you are, you should definitely reap that benefit. My partner, she's a lot younger, and she's getting about 85% of her deals through social media. And she's been 2 years in the business. So that works for her. And that's how she's building her database. And she does reels, and she does pictures, and she does videos, and she does all the things that I'm yet to do. So however you want to engage and connect with people, that's great. Even if those people are not interested in buying or selling, everybody knows someone who's been thinking about buying or selling. You just need to get in front of them. That's what it comes down to. Okay. This is what the process looks like. Depending on the city, this could change, but statistically speaking, people move every 7 to 10 years. Okay. Agents love to connect with people right here when they're ready to move. That's great. That's a cherry on the cake, and we will never turn that business down. However, the goal is for you to develop enough touches, enough contacts, enough prospecting, so that through the relationship and through the ups and downs, you are in front of people. And you're not that important. People forget about you. People don't even know if you're in business, if you don't remind them, and I suck at that. I'm horrible at keeping in touch with clients. I've had clients that call me and ask me, hey, are you still in real estate? I'm like, I'm not doing this the way I'm supposed to. So I'm not gonna tell you that I do this to a T and I do it perfectly, because that wouldn't be honest and that wouldn't be true. Agents that do it though, they have a much higher return, because people engage with them a lot more through the ups and downs. You are in front of people, you are at the top of mind. So the goal is, and again, I said 7 to 10 years, and that depends. Clearfield, for example, is a lot shorter. Why? We have a base. A lot of people get orders and they come and they go. Every couple of years, people are moving. So if you're gonna do farming, if you're gonna do prospecting, maybe a good place to start is the city with the highest turnover in Utah. So, and it's nearby. So that may be a good way to grab a subdivision and start door knocking and finding out if people are thinking about moving or if they have to move. So the goal is to create that relationship throughout the 7 or 10 years, so that when you get to the next move, they didn't get distracted by the turquoise signs. They didn't care that their cousin got their license. You'll do some clients to that. They just know the person that's gonna help them with their next move, and that's gonna be you. But if you close the deal and you disappear for 10 years, some people will come back, some people will call you, but the majority of people, they'll get lost because they get distracted. I read the other day that you absorb as much information in a month as your grandparents in a lifetime. So in a month, you're constantly being bombarded with billboards, ads, social media, TV, radio, if anybody listens to the radio. You get all this, you absorb all this massive information in a month that equal to your grandparents' lifetime of absorbing information. So people will get distracted. If you're not in front of them, if you don't strengthen that relationship, if you don't remind them, if you are not of service, then you're gonna miss out on great opportunities, which I'm sure I have. Okay? Questions about this?
I find it very difficult
Yes.
to. In the military base situation, I can understand, but in my situation. I've lived in Utah for 24 years, 24, 25, two
Yeah.
homes,
Okay. Yeah.
you know, and so therefore. Well, I guess it goes by the 10-year mark, but. The place that I'm in right now, I
Yes.
can't imagine moving from too soon, and I've been there 9 years.
Okay. And perhaps as an agent, I have failed you in terms of, have you thought about an investment?
But I already have an
or-
investment.
right.
property.
But if you have an investment property versus 5, that could mean retirement. I mean, the system allows you to play with the equity of one house and buy another house and do it again and do it again.
Ever considered.
Right.
but
So,
never
but
been
if
there.
perhaps if your agent would have given you more tools or more guidance or more knowledge about that. So even if it's not about moving, you know what I mean? There are ways to attract more business and or hunting for referrals but providing a value, I think it's crucial. So even if you don't move every 10 years, you've known people that have moved in the last 10 years.
I think if you were to dissect the 7 to 10 years, if you think about our own lives, we move more often when we're younger. And then as we get older, we stay stationary, right? So Fabian, since you were 20, how many times have you moved?
6, 7, 8 times.
So if you average that out, it's probably every 3 or 4 years when
Yeah.
you're younger or less.
Yeah.
But as you get older, that gap gets bigger, right? So as you get somewhere where you're there for 10, 15 years, right? So you're like, I don't want to move, I don't want to go through that again, blah, blah, blah. But I might want an investment property. Or I might want a cabin in Bear Lake, or I might want a condo in St. George, right? So you start thinking other stuff. So 7 to 10 years, someone will do a real estate transaction. Everyone in your database is going to do something within 7 to 10 years, guaranteed. The question is, are they going to do it with you?
And that's where the keeping in contact comes crucial. Okay, and again, even if people, thank you, and even if people don't move, they know someone who will. And someone in their family will, and someone in their group of friends and at their office and a church will move. And if you can capture some of that, then that's more business to you. So the message of this is basically, don't wait for 7 or 10 years, create these opportunities to be in touch with people, to be of service, so that when they hear about someone moving, they think of you. Okay? I've listed many houses where when I go to the house to look at the house, I see on the refrigerator the calendar that their previous agent sent them on the mail. And I always notice that, I never pointed out obviously, but I always notice that, which means that's great. A calendar is great, but it's not enough, or they wouldn't be listing the house with me, right? Maybe the agent didn't have a nice accent, I don't know. Hopefully that's not it. So yeah, you gotta be top of mind, you gotta be in contact. There's a statistic, and I don't remember, so I'm not gonna quote it, but they say that a high percentage of people say that they will use their agent again. And when in reality, it's a very small percentage that actually use the same agent for the next transaction. So they do love you at closing, and they will forget about you. So again, I'm sorry to break it down to you, you are not that important. So you gotta make yourself important. So again, prospecting base. Time intensive, you gotta be proactive, and that will give you immediate results. These are people that you're gonna come across that they're gonna be hopefully buying or selling real estate soon. The marketing is a bonus. The marketing is going to be passive. The marketing is gonna provide long-term results. They say that if you're gonna do farming, and I'll explain farming in a minute, that will be like a 12-month type of working to start harvesting some of that. So it's a high cost, you're sending mailers, and at the same time, the return is not quite as immediate. So the prospecting is probably the easiest and the fastest way, not the easiest, but the fastest way for you to start seeing some return on the time that you invest. Okay. Prospecting is essentially free and simply requires your time to complete it. Marketing costs money, and it's more of a wait and see method. Okay. All right. Prospecting. I'm sure you've come across all of this. For sale by owners, expired listings, circle prospecting, neighborhoods, apartment complex, recent sold listings, recent listed properties. Those are the postcards often. Community outreach, charity, volunteer work. All of these are ideas for prospecting. The agents that are most successful, according to the information, is the ones that pick 4 that they really excel at and they get a high return and they concentrate on those. And then they add all the other stuff, and then they add the marketing, and then they add the social media or whatever, but they pick 4 that they're really strong, and that's how they harvest the majority of their leads. Okay, so for now, it would be a good idea for you to try a lot of this. As soon as you start seeing some development on some specific ones, you should probably concentrate more energy into that. Okay, and more money eventually. Here are some ideas for marketing. There's a lot more ways to spend your money. So. Again, a lot of it has to do with spending money and wait to see some kind of return. It could also be some of the branding, right? To get your name out there, to let people know that you're in real estate. Is that going to give you a transaction right away? No. But the more people hear about you, the more people hear about your name, then, and about your business, the more chances you get to come across them face to face, and then they'll know who you are. Let me bring some of the, if I grab some of the postcards that I sent so that you have an idea of what it is.
So this is the shirt you guys will get for attending 80% or more of the Ignite classes this round. You're up to $10.
So if we keep attending the Ignite, we're gonna get different swag, most of these.
How many more classes are there?
It goes until the 13th of July, I think. There's 10 more classes, so there's 20 classes total, and we do 2 a night.
I have a question though.
Yes,
You went to the prospecting, but you did not explain each one. For example, for the sell by owners,
yes,
how do you prospect there? What do you do there?
great question. So let's go back. So the for sale by owners. There are several websites that advertise the for sale by owners.
You got one website. They got one website for sale by owners.com or something.
That's one of them. That's one of them, but you can find them on Zillow, you can find them on other websites. There are companies as well that will scrub and send you the information of the new for sale by owners that are now listed on the MLS, obviously. So the best approach for the for sale by owners is to go visit with. Honestly, you can call them, but they're tired of getting calls from agents. They probably don't want to hear from you. A lot of people are really good at that, and they practice scripts, and that's what they do 3 hours a day. They just call expires and for sale by owners. They get a list from their company and they start calling people, and they go through the scripts and they pace, and they're very good at what they do. My advice is to go and visit with them. It could be that you're driving by and you see a for sale by owner sign. Yeah. And there's KSL as well. A lot of people put their stuff on KSL. So you could prospect to those people. And that will probably be a whole nother class. But my approach has always been with for sale by owners. You want to sell the house on your own? Let me help you do that. I will give you the pointers, and I will give you a list of all the things that you're going to have to do as the seller of your house to be able to do this on your own. And if you do it successfully, I want to help you buy your house, because one, there's no cost to you, and two, I'm providing some value. So hopefully by then you trust me.
That'll work.
If you at some point get tired of answering phone calls from agents and showing the house and making sure that you don't get any valuables stolen, and making sure that you're at home every time that someone shows it and takes the dogs out and do all these things that agent does, and you decide to list, I would love to have a shot at it, because again, I'm providing you with the value. So that would be my approach to the and the times that I've used it, it's worked great. And people end up listing with me, or they end up selling the house and I help them buy a house. So that would be my approach. And for that, you should create a little packet that kind of talks about you. If you're a new agent, that talks about Keller Williams and the volume that we take and the market share. And, always as a new agent, lead with what we have as a team and as a group and as a company, because that strengthens your position. So that when you go up against an agent that is more experienced, but may work for a smaller company, they may not have the leverage that you're able to offer because you're a bigger. Okay, but that's a great question. Thank you. Thank you for that. Any other questions in terms of?
All the next one, circle prospecting, what is that?
The circle prospecting, so. The circle prospecting has to do with. Sending something on the mail and then calling them and then visiting with them. So you attack them from multiple until they know who you are, basically. And when they are ready to do something, hopefully they will come back to you.
Quick question, so you went over for sell by owners.
Yes.
How do you approach or have you approached expired listings?
Expires are easier, so they're easier to find because they're on the MLS. They weren't able to sell. My approach with them is always, and again, you're not gonna get a phone number unless you do have one of those companies that provide you that information. So, but if you go on, you should first check to see if they live there. Because they could be an investor in California that were trying to sell their house in Utah. So if you go on the MLS, you should be able to find where their mail is being sent to. If it's out of state, I will write a letter saying, hey, I'm sorry, I saw that you didn't sell your house. I would love to talk to you about what you think went wrong and see if I can help you. If you're able to get in front of them, if it's a homeowner that lives in the house, I would also try to visit with them and ask them, what do you think went wrong? Well, my agent was this and that and that. And usually it has something to do with either they didn't have the information that they needed, or they were not in a place of motivation where they price their home accordingly.
In
Yes.
that situation, if they have in fact worked with an agent, isn't there a 6-month time span before you can start working
No.
with them?
As soon as the listing expires, they don't have a contract anymore.
That protection clause is if they do something without an agent.
Or like.
You're
the-
talking about the protection clause in the listing
Yeah.
agreement, that's if they don't hire another agent.
Like if they for sale by owner to a buyer that came into the open house that you held. That makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah, I will still, for sell by owners want to save money. And expire listings is people that are frustrated with the process and they have little faith in agents and they're often quick to blame someone else. And maybe they were not explained a good strategy to sell their home. So again, you come from a point of contribution. What can I do? Tell me what's wrong, tell me where it went wrong, and I can give you my 2 cents. And if you find it useful, and if you think that I can help you achieve what you want, we'll do it. And if not, good luck. And you're not gonna be able to convince everybody, but the more people you get in front of, then the more chances you're gonna get to earn their business. Okay. Okay. Questions about this? Marketing, again, lots of great ways to spend your money. Again, Keller Williams surveyed top agents and found that they focus on the top 4 sources and they get the best return that way. And the top sources usually are repeats. So people that have done business with them and they'll continue to do business with them. Referrals from clients and the sphere of influence and the sphere of influence and the database. So those are their main focus. Again, you should add social media to that. Prospecting or marketing, again, you can do both. Farming, the geographic farming is, what's the difference between geographic or demographic farming?
One's like the actual area and the other
Yeah.
one's the type of people that live there.
Perfect. Exactly. That's exactly right. So my understanding is that Facebook has the metrics to work if you want to define anybody in Layton that makes between $60,000 and $120,000 that own their own house, that they are between the ages of 18 and 45, you can put all these metrics and you can prospect to them directly. So that would be you can farm to them directly. It's not really prospecting but you can target them directly. And they may or may not be in a specific neighborhood. It could also be in all Davis County, or it could be across northern Utah that fit the specific criteria. There are ways that you can do that. So that's also a way to farm. Events, and we're going to talk about that. So you have the open houses. There are agents that do seminars, either first-time home buyer seminars or investment seminars. Sometimes they bring attorneys or help people with things they need to know for taxes, and they bring an accountant. But anything that will bring people together with the purpose of gathering their information and hopefully provide a service so that when they need to buy or sell real estate, they'll do it with you because you're providing a service.
I want to, so Tiffany, she's in coaching here. She did a Juneteenth festival this weekend.
Okay,
And she got 200 new signups to her like database, and she got 16 hot leads.
all right,
Want to buy herself just from the Juneteenth festival, and she only did it on Saturday.
that's phenomenal. And how did she do it? Did she get sponsors or?
Yep, she had a lender help her.
Lender help, okay,
Mhm. She had to spin the prize wheel, so you had to register, she has a QR code that goes right to command.
okay,
So you had to register on that, then you got to spin the prize wheel, and some of her prizes were like free CMA, free buyer consultation, just basic. She had a couple swag things. We had some stuff with the lender. I don't remember all the prizes she had, but they weren't ones. She had some swag, but those were like most people won like a free CMA. Which is so
great. So 200 new contacts
new contacts
and
and
16
16
hot leads.
hot leads.
CMA can take a couple hours sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, especially if there's no stats on it.
Yeah, she's busy all week now.
Hey, that's great. Okay, so that's a great way to
Mhm.
prospect.
That's like the seminars though. like-
That's the seminar, okay? You can do a contest, and that could be in a newsletter, that could be on social media, that could be, you can just come up with something that will reel people in. You can do a client appreciation event. You can wait for the release of a movie and then go and set up a time where you can say, hey, the premiere for this movie, I'm gonna invite all these people in my sphere of influence or my database, or the ones that have been good to you and your business. And then you have a couple minutes in front of them and enjoy the show. You don't have to harvest every time. But the goal is to be able to create these events to bring people together and continue with that relationship that you have with them. Again, it comes from a point of service. Okay. Networking. I don't know what networking will be. Networking could be different. So there are, for example, committees at the Realtor Association. There's an education committee, there is a affiliates committee there. You can get involved with committees, and that would be a good way to network. There is BNI. There are different ways to network with other agents or with other professionals in the real estate industry that you could start harvesting referrals from there as well. And you can prospect to them. If you have a newsletter, for example, and you do have a good painter, you can say, hey, give me something, a 10%, 15% off coupon, and I'll put it on the newsletter. And the newsletter gets to 300 people. And if you get any new clients with a coupon, then let me know. And at the same time, you're going to expect them to start referring new business as well. So you can start creating that referral base with them. That's the resources. Other agents, you can network with other agents and you can get referrals from other agents as well. Then purchase referral networks, advertising networks, clientele. So, yeah. These are prospecting and marketing, put to work together. They talk about the open houses. For example, when you have an open house, it's an event. What kind of prospecting can you do with an open house?
Buyers,
Okay, how?
never mind.
No, you're on the right track.
I
But,
don't know if I'm on the right track.
well, here's why, because you want to be appealing to buyers. So you could potentially reach out to all the people that you know and say, hey, if you know of any buyers, I'm gonna be on this open house. Come grab a cookie, send them to have some lemonade, take a look at the house. If they don't like it, that's okay. We have 2,000 other houses that they may like. So you do want to prospect buyers. What prospecting activity can go hand in hand with the open house? Or prior to the open house?
Door knocking,
Door knocking? And you're prospecting for what? Buyers or sellers?
both.
Yeah, exactly. So you were on the right track, buyers and sellers. So you door knock with a purpose. Now you have a flyer. Now you're inviting them to the Andersons who are selling their house. They're their neighbors. They should care about how much the Andersons sell their house for, because their house value will be affected by how much the Andersons sell their house for. Besides, the Andersons are great decorators, so if they want to come and steal some ideas, that would be a great opportunity to get into their house. And bring anybody else, or what if they know anybody that has been thinking about moving to this neighborhood? Or what if they will love their elderly mother to live close to them? Or not so close. So all these things could come up from that activity, which is the door knocking. So you have an event and then you put some prospecting around it. And the prospecting is more important than the actual open house. Of course, when it's an open house, you gotta show up and you gotta be ready to wow people as they come through the door. But in order to get people there, you need to do the prospecting. In order for you to grow your database, you need to do the prospecting. In order for people to know that you're doing this for the Andersons, and if they sold their house, they should consider you because you work hard for the Andersons and you will work hard for them. That's what the prospective is, the activity that leads to the actual event, which is the open house. Same thing, if you're gonna do a movie premiere, or if you're gonna do first-time home buyer seminar, it's all the things that you do prior to the actual event that they're gonna be meaningful to your business, because you're gonna be contacting people, you're gonna be calling people, you're gonna put in social media, you're gonna do a video, you're gonna do a reel, you're gonna do all these things that will connect you with people. You're gonna invite them to the open house. If they don't come, you're gonna tell them that they're missing at the open house. If they do come, then you see them there. You're gonna thank them afterwards for having come to the open house or send someone else. So all these activities are the activities that will create your source of business.
Yeah, door knocking for 2 hours, you could have 20 conversations. With the open house for 2 hours, you might only get 5 to 10.
And if you do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then the open house on Friday and Saturday, then you have 10 hours of prospecting. Getting in front of people. And when you do that, and when you invite them to the open house, you could also say, hey, by the way, I have this of what's going on in your neighborhood. Are you interested to see the values? And that will have your information, and that will have the information that you're providing. So again, you're coming from a point of service. It's a lot easier to go door knocking if you have a purpose, right? You're not selling anything, you're helping the others, that's their neighbor, sell their house, yeah.
I have a question. So if you're not selling anything,
Mhm.
what if it says like no soliciting on
Oh,
their door?
I-
Can you still do that?
You're not soliciting their business. You're just offering some information, you're inviting them to an event, it's an open house.
You won't get yelled at.
Well, you still could yell at it. You can yell back, cover your name tag.
That's what-
Absolutely not. No, you're inviting them to an event, you're telling them about the Anderson selling their house. And chances are they want to help the Anderson sell their house for a good price. But yeah, you're gonna have friendly and not so friendly people answer the door, and that's okay. And there's always the next door, right?
it's
But,
Do you think it's safe to do it by yourself?
it depends. I would say it's always good to do it a few, at least in the same area. I wouldn't say go knock on the door with 5 agents, but that would be.
There's singing Christmas
but-
carols.
But there are some safety precautions in every activity that you're gonna do that you have to be aware, of, including at the day of the open house, which you probably already covered. Take 9. Have you taken the open house
Mhm.
Ignite class?
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are some safety concerns with that as well. But yeah, with door knocking, you wanna, especially after the pandemic, people like distance.
Step
Right?
back.
Knock on the door, just take a step back. You're well dressed, you're ready to engage with them, you have information for them, you're inviting them to an open house. And then at the end, you're gonna ask them if they consider to move. And they'll tell you. And sometimes they'll lie to you, that's okay. So. Moving right along, how are we doing on time?
Have 7 minutes.
Good luck with that. Okay. We covered that. Gold mine referrals, always provide value. So we've been talking a lot about providing value. When you come from a point of contribution, it's hard for people to slam the door in your face. They'll still do it, but make it harder for them if you're door knocking. Share your KW offer. That's very easy. Oh, you've been thinking about, you want to know what's around here. Let me give you my app. And they can register, and then all of a sudden you have a back end feature that you can see what they're looking at, how often, and what are the things that they're like. Then you can be more proactive and approach them directly. Okay, share market statistics. That's important. People don't want to get 20 tracks. They want you to chew that information for them and digest it for them. So make it very, very easy. And there's a way to do that on the MLS now with Rapid Stats. Provide vetted vendor list. That's also important, right? If they need something done at their house, whether they're your clients or not, you should have your arsenal of people that you can recommend. And those people will do a good job, and they'll be professional, and they'll make you look good. And hopefully they'll refer you more business. So, as for referrals, when would be a good time to ask for referrals when you're working with someone?
After you close the transaction.
After your closest classic. Maybe set the expectations during the time when you work with them, say, hey, if you're enjoying the experience, at the end, I'll probably ask you, or if you know of anybody, let me know, because I'd love to extend the same level of service to them. And then keep reminding them, right? And begin a little bit deeper, try to get some of those referrals. So anytime is a good time to ask for referrals. What you don't want to do is every time you call your sphere of influence, ask for referrals, because then they get tired of you. You gotta be able to provide something. You gotta be able to bring some value. You gotta be able to foster that relationship and nurture that relationship. So once in a while, it's okay. All the time, it's annoying as hell. Nobody likes it. Don't do it. They'll block you. They'll send you to voicemail. And their voicemail is full, by the way. Reward for referrals. This is extremely important. You have a friend or a family member or someone that you know, and they're sending you someone, you gotta acknowledge that with those people. You gotta be generous with them. Maybe a gift card to a coffee shop or something small, just a handwritten note will go a long way. Take the time to write a note or a little card and say, hey, thank you for putting so and so in contact with me. I really appreciate it. Regardless of whether that ends up in a transaction or not, you want to make sure that you acknowledge those people immediately to encourage them to continue to do it and to know that that's important for you. And they need to know that that's important for you. Because that's going to be, the referral business is the best one you can get. If you can get your business to be 80-90% referral based, you're set. Because your people will send you more people. And that's what you want. And when someone recommends your services, of course, they'll Google you and they'll see your page and they'll Google your name and whatnot. So be careful what you put out there. But ultimately, if you come recommended, chances are you're gonna get business. Or at least you're gonna get a shot, which is what you want. Okay, so you gotta foster that and you gotta encourage people to do that. And you gotta train your people to do that, because that's important to you. And you gotta be humble enough to let them know, this is the source of my business. This is, so yeah, your relationship is, my relationship with you is extremely important, and I would love to help anybody that you know that may be in the market to buy or sell. Okay. So the thing with a handwritten note will go a long way. Agent to agent referral. When do you think you can harvest a referral from another agent? Out of state?
When you send them one,
Yeah. Could it be in state? Could it be someone in Provo that doesn't want to travel to North Albion to show houses? Sure. When else? If you have an agent that concentrates on listings, 100%. What takes more of your time? A listing or a buyer?
buyer,
Why?
because you're out there showing them houses, you're
Right.
answering. Yeah, I mean, you're actively going with
Yeah.
them, opening up
Yeah.
houses. And showing
Yeah.
them to-
And writing contracts.
Yeah.
and Offers.
Yeah.
Several
And
times.
educating at the same time, right? So could it be that you find a few agents that concentrate just on listings? And maybe when you have a listing, you harvest buyers, whether you like it or not, which is a good thing. They may not want to work all the buyers. They may want to refer them to you and get paid 25% referral fee or whatever the arrangement is. You get a client and they get paid without having to go through all the buyer process. That could be a win-win. Or maybe a price point. There may be some agents that they don't touch anything below 300 or 400 or whatever their bracket is. And there may be an opportunity there for you. So networking with other agents, extremely important. How many of you speak Spanish? You do. So I'm not gonna get referrals from you, but from all of you, I could, right? You come across a family that they want to buy or they want to sell and they feel more comfortable with a Spanish speaking agent, I can help them. You can get paid. You won't be sued. That's a happy day if you don't end up in court, right? So win-win. So agents, extremely important to network with agents and create that relationship. Also, if you go to the IRS website or if you go to the census website, you can see how many people are moving to Utah and from where, and how many people are moving out of Utah and where to. And then on command, you can go and connect with agents in those areas and establish that relationship to create that referral. If people are moving from Clearfield to Texas, you want to contact agents in Texas and build that relationship. And when people are moving there, you send them to those agents and you get paid. Good deal. Okay, so keep all of those things are, and now this is a prospecting class. How do you prospect for that? Well, you gotta contact those agents. You gotta call them. My assistant right now is working on creating a newsletter just for those agents. So we have in our network, I don't know, 300 agents throughout the United States, which again, could be anywhere in the world. And if we have a newsletter to tell them about our team and to tell them about what we do and what our market is and fun things about our area, you keep them engaged and you keep them top of mind. Versus making a phone call and say, hey, I'm in this area. If you have any clients moving to this area, please let me know, and then never heard from you again. Your email got lost, but if it's every month, and if at some point someone is coming to Utah from that area, chances are they're gonna find that newsletter. Okay, so the prospecting comes in handy even with other agents. I've gotten referrals from other agents where there's a personality difference. And the agent is like, I hate their guts. I don't think I can help them. I think they hate my guts too. Would you help them? Sure, I would be happy to help. And I've gotten paid and they've gotten paid. So, again, keep that option open. So you want to grow your business, you want to contact these people, and you want to maintain the relationship, and then you manage, hopefully in a smart way, so it doesn't take a lot of your time, but you're still top of mind when it comes time for that. Okay, referral network, again, Command is a great resource for that. Worldwide referrals, business to business referral. This is what we were talking about. How many times have you recommended services? Your mechanic, your hairdresser, your whatever, your painter, your grocery store. People need to get in the habit of recommending your services as well. And you should contact those people that you've been recommending and say, hey, I've sent you business. I'm in business. When do we cut a flower of your garden? And people are okay with that, and they expect that. And if they're business people, they understand how important referrals are.
Yeah, because then they think, oh yeah, he's right.
Your dentist, your accountant, these are people that you use their services over and over, and you send them people over and over. And you could promote their business with your clients. So that's a great audience for them. So you need to start thinking outside the box to see how those people can refer you business. They already know you, they trust you, hopefully they like you. Now they need to send you business, but you need to ask for it. They're not gonna say, oh, you're real estate. Oh yeah, let me send you someone that I know. No, you gotta go and get it. Now it's time to practice.
Thank you for all your information.
You're welcome. Anything that you came up with that you can probably implement in your business that you're gonna start with?
I mean, like, I already figured it would happen, but like when door knocking, people getting mad. You just have to do it. That's what I keep telling myself too. Worst thing they're gonna say is no. Or slam the door in your face, whatever, but.
I mean, I can imagine they reject you a whole lot. They're more likely to shoot me than you, but you're right, you're gonna get that experience. And it's not about you. They don't care about you. They're in the middle of something. Or they're not thinking about that, or they're not moving anytime soon, and that's okay.
Or the neighbor will tell you they are a jerk.
Or they're having a bad day
Yeah.
or a bad life. I'm going to the next one so I can have a better life. I'm gonna talk to your neighbor because it's not good for my life. So, yeah, so you gotta do it.
I thought it was pretty aha that, now when you think about it, it makes sense, but that we absorbed in 1 month, what like our grandparents used to absorb in a whole year.
Yep.
That's just,
In their lifetime,
but it makes, I just never thought of it.
Yeah.
It's just, wow,
that's a lot. We
We're
get
all
bombarded a lot.
Constantly.
We get put needs that we don't have, but you see it, oh, yes.
So we have to-
I did that.
So we have to try to do it as well. We gotta keep
Yes,
getting in their face.
because people will get distracted. And life happens, and they're busy, and they don't care about you. Did I mention that? They don't care about you. So you need to care enough about your business to go and get it.
This is
Okay,
an interesting idea.
Yeah.
In fact, I guess.
thank you. Okay, Anything else?
I like the idea of just being present wherever you go, handing out your business card, you know, whether you're at gas station, grocery store, whatever. I used to do that in my last career, and I just haven't done it
Yeah.
since,
Yeah.
but it does build confidence over
Sure.
time. And you know, sometimes you're sitting there like at dinner, you're like, should I leave my business card? They'll probably think it's weird. But at that point, you're gone.
And make
Yeah.
sure you leave a good tip.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to convince yourself to do it. A much more effective way will be to be able to engage with that person and
Yeah.
find out and capture their information.
Right.
That's why when someone tells me my cousin has been thinking about buying a house, but they're on the fence about it, instead of giving them my business card or telling them to call me, I ask them for permission so that I can call them. Because then it gives me the power to call them and initiate that. You give someone your business card, they're gonna lose it, they're gonna throw it, they're gonna. By the way, our industry is super cheesy. We all have pictures on our business cards. It's one of the few industries that does that. Somebody told me once that it's harder for people to throw a card away when it's got somebody's face on it. I don't know if that's a thing or not. I just know that it's not as effective as you gathering their information and having the ball in your court to go and proactively talking to people and calling people. Okay, so whenever you can gather information, if someone asks you for your card, oh, you know what? I'm out of my bit. What's your number? And you just put it right there and there. And that's the best way. Because otherwise, there is a good chance that your card ends up somewhere. They forgot, they lost it, they misplaced it, they got distracted with all the information they gave them. Okay? Any questions about this? If you get down, if you can swallow the idea that prospecting is the most important part of your job, then you're just gonna do it. Right? Where a lot of people that come from other industries or they're old dogs that have been in the business for a very long time and they don't go out and prospect over. The idea of prospecting is dreading to more agents. And for you, it should be, this is how I'm gonna get paid. If I don't bring new business, I'm going out of business. I have to do something to get paid. And this is how it starts. So it's just something that you have to do. If you enjoy it, much better. If you don't, it doesn't matter. You still gotta do it. Okay? Cool. Then, and I apologize, there is some information that we didn't cover. But the time is up. So you have my business cards. I think you are the only one that didn't get it yet. Call me, give me a call if you have any questions about this. If you have any questions about anything and you can't get a hold of Sean or Rossi or Eden, I'm an open book and I'll tell you everything that's working for me and that it's not working. And I will tell you from a point of experience and from, a point of honesty. This is what has worked for me and what hasn't. And this is what I know it works for successful agents and not so successful. So call me, use me as a resource. I'm available for you. If I'm with a client, I won't answer my phone, but other than that, I will give you a call back. I will text you back. I will get back in touch with you. Okay. There's no secrets. The pie is big enough for everybody. So what I want is for you to do well. And if you struggle with anything, just think that we all did at some point. Just find your resources and find a body system of accountability to push you into doing the things that you may not be super comfortable, but that will create the biggest growth and opportunity for you. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye. Thank you guys.
Let's take a quick
Yeah.
5-minute break.
Snap cookies.
Thanks, Fabian.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can't go outside because we're not gonna get back in.
You're back.